Today, we're constantly told that the highest moral achievement a person can reach is simply to be kind. We've elevated empathy, inclusivity, and the strict avoidance of causing discomfort as the primary markers of a good person. Yet, look closely at how this plays out. A culture that mandates constant niceness has simultaneously become fiercely punitive. We live in an era defined by extreme social fracture, rapid public shaming, and institutional ruthlessness. Why does a society that worships empathy produce so much tangible, everyday harm? Nearly a century ago, the writer C.S. Lewis saw this coming. He warned that if we isolate kindness and elevate it above all other characteristics, we would eventually open the door to profound cruelty. Lewis's diagnosis suggests that when a society treats superficial kindness as its only moral standard, that kindness can easily be used to justify the very cruelty it claims to oppose. Lewis observed that every historical era adopts a pet virtue. A society will obsessively cultivate one specific moral trait while developing a severe blind spot to its own unique horrors. Ancient warrior cultures like Sparta prized martial courage and state discipline. By isolating those specific traits, they became insensitive to mercy, leading to brutal practices like the systematic exposure of unfit infants. The Victorian era hyper-focused on social propriety and honor. This public respectability effectively masked massive class exploitation and quiet everyday cruelty toward those who fell outside their moral standards. Our modern pet virtue is mercy, but we have cheapened it into a passive requirement to be nice and avoid giving offense. The trap of this specific modern virtue is that it requires absolutely no sacrifice. It is incredibly easy to feel benevolent when your life is comfortable, your bills are paid, and nothing is currently annoying you. This self-deception mirrors the New Testament's critique of the Pharisees. Modern virtue signaling functions exactly like the ancient practice of meticulously tithing cheap spices like mint and dill, while completely abandoning heavy obligations like justice. Treating a comfortable, fleeting feeling of benevolence as true goodness is a dangerous illusion. It flatters our own ego while leaving the actual vulnerable people in our society unprotected. There is a mechanical reality to human morality. Virtues cannot exist alone. True kindness actively requires a supporting framework of completely different, much harder traits. The New Testament describes the fruit of the Spirit as an interdependent structure. Kindness relies on the load-bearing weight of self-control, goodness, and faithfulness. If a society extracts kindness while stripping away courage or truth, the entire structure fails. Apply this to a modern setting. Imagine a situation where an unpopular truth must be spoken out loud to stop long-term harm. When faced with massive social pressure, a person lacking courage will freeze. They will prioritize their own job security and social standing over the welfare of others, all while continuing to call their silence compassionate. Lewis warned that every vice eventually leads to cruelty. Kindness without the courage to act is simply cowardice masquerading as care. The antidote to the modern cult of kindness is the biblical concept of agape love. Lewis described this as stern and splendid, a standard that operates through the difficult integration of all the virtues. First, according to 1 Corinthians 13, this love rejoices in objective truth. It refuses to validate destructive behavior or ignore hard realities just to spare someone's temporary feelings. Second, it demands tangible action and personal cost. True love rejects our modern reliance on cheap digital empathy, abstract policy support, or posting thoughts and prayers from a safe distance. Third, and perhaps most confrontational, sincere love possesses the capacity to actively hate what is evil. It refuses to tolerate harm under the guise of being inclusive. Until we abandon cheap sentimentality and return to a fully integrated morality, where kindness is backed by courage, justice, and truth, our modern empathy will continue to manufacture the exact cruelty we are desperately trying to escape.